which is what we're all called to have. I love Unit 2. I love the title. A living faith. See, some of us got a talking faith. You just talk faith. You don't actually live it. Because when it's time to live it, then you kind of shrink back or you make excuses. But you got to have a living faith, because a living faith is a lifestyle. Meaning that you ain't good all the time, you ain't bad all the time. You have your ups and your downs. Sometimes almost level to the ground. But no matter what, you've had some conviction in your life that no matter what comes, no matter what's transpiring with me, no matter how I feel, I'm not turning away from God for nobody. Amen? You ought to get to a place where you sing too much now. They can't trick you with all that trickery, all that talk about ain't no God, because he's already made himself present in your life back now. Amen? I don't know about you, but I don't know where you're going to turn back to. Ain't nothing to turn to. You can have my old life. They can keep it. Because I'm way better off than I was. And we're going to see that even with these Hebrew boys today, that there's some things that you ought to stand for. Amen? So let's look at this a little bit expositionally, and then we'll move forward. Bound for the Faith is the title of the book. It says, then, verse 19 of chapter 3, was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his vestige was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the fiery furnace. Okay, so let's stop here, because last week when we were dealing with this, we seen these same 3 boys. They got picked out of a group of a lot of people to hang out with the king. Now these same 3 boys, along with a few others, were trained by the king. They were to eat the king's food. They were in Babylon U, if you will. They got to go to the College of Babylon. Whereas the king of Babylon felt like this was a privilege. But Daniel and his friends were keeping a very close eye on what was going on, even though the king felt like he was doing them a favor. The more you read about Nebuchadnezzar, this is King Nebuchadnezzar II of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. This man was just as crazy as Donald Trump, if not more. And every time I study this, all I can think about is that president. Now y'all know in Bible study, I came out and I watched the meeting that he had, and y'all heard me say, I said he did a good job. It wasn't 24 hours later that he opened up his mouth and said, well, opened his fingers first and tweeted what he tweeted. Now, I don't know about being a president, because I've never been a president. But I know it's just some stuff you don't say out loud, period. Whether you the president, whether you a garbage man, it's just some stuff you don't say about other folk in the presence of other people. Now, I know Sister Washington taping, so I don't want to get in trouble. But I'm going to say this anyway. Now you ought to know better a little bit, right? Because people say that if you keep your mouth closed, folk won't know you an idiot. But don't open up your mouth, because you remove all doubt. Now, and I'm just saying that to say, Judge, don't watch what people do. You got to listen to what's coming out their mouth. Because the Bible says what's out of the mouth, it comes from the abundance of what's in the heart. I told you, when people show you who they are, you better believe them. You better believe them, because who people are at the core don't change. Their clothes might change, their look might change, their appearance might change, but who they are and what they believe at the core, it don't change. And it shouldn't change. What I believe at the core doesn't change. What I believe about God, what I believe about me, what I believe about my family, it doesn't change. Because it's a core belief. So when people show you, so I went on that tangent just because we're talking about Nebuchadnezzar. So we know what's going on here. First of all, last week we seen that they wouldn't eat the king's food. So we already know that coming from Jerusalem that they got some principles. They've got some values. They've got some things that they stand for. And so they had already put themselves in a privileged position by sticking with God and what God's precepts was. God showed them favor. And the Bible said they looked better, they sounded better, and they were more handsome and more smart than everybody else that was around. So they already got favor of the king, and then the king changed everybody's diet. Now watch this now, because you got to follow the story, because it starts way late in chapter 3. Because they got favor, you know, anytime God blesses you, anytime God puts favor on you, you're going to have some haters. Now they done changed the diet because of these boys. They done changed the regimen because of these boys. Now you got these other boys standing back getting upset. Because God's got his hand on it. And see, every time you talk about, I want to be blessed, I want to be highly favored, you better be able to handle it. Because folk love you as long as you struggling like they struggling. Folk love you as long as you in the bottom of the boat with them. But the minute God put his hand on you, because see, the only thing that's going to make folk upset is that God got his hand on you. Because when God got his hand on you, you doing stuff other folk can't do. Matter of fact, you don't even know how you do it. And when other folks see that you're doing something that only God can do, they get upset with you because they know that they can't get it done. Because it's just some things that only God can do. Right? And so they have some haters. And so it's a conspiracy that started now. And the conspiracy is they're going to get the king upset. We got to get the king in on this. And so in order to get this favor off of them, which they think, they come up with this plan to turn the king against them. Now we know they got this arrogant king. And so this arrogant king decides, I need a statue. Matter of fact, I need the biggest statue ever made in the whole wide world. I want a 90-feet statue of me, and I need it in all gold. Well, you know, when people start doing that, your antennas ought to go up, because now we got a problem. Because now it's not enough for you to be the king. Now you're moving over into God's space. And now you don't want folk to just respect you because you're the king. Now you want people to worship you as God. Now you got a problem. Because anytime you try to set yourself up as God, and I tell you this all the time, anytime you put something in God's seat, he coming to move it. He's going to put it, you can't put anything in God's seat. You know how some church women are in their seats in the church? That's how God is by his seat. That's where they get it from. Don't put nothing on my seat. Don't put your coat on my seat. Don't put your book on my seat. They may let you get away with it one Sunday, but they gonna tell you the next Sunday, you know I sit here, right? And that's how God is. So he builds this big old statue. And what he decides to do, and you know Babylon, they were known for this, because the originators, you know where Babylon came from. They tried to build this. See, they're always trying to worship themselves. So what they decided to do, you know, back in Genesis, they're going to build a tower that reach up to God. And God say, no, I'm going to come down, I'm going to scramble your language. Well, this is the same fault, okay? This is just mom and them, dad and them now. And so they're doing the exact same thing. So he takes a gold statue, and the reason why he wants it so big and he wants it made of gold is because he knows, as a smart man, because Nebuchadnezzar's not a dummy. He knows exactly how to get folk on his team is, let me give him something shiny. See, this is how the devil works. He never changes his plan. Lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. It never changes. Why would he change it and it still works? Look at our youth out there in this culture right now. What is he amusing to them? What do you see them spending their money on? Gold, silver. Something they can put on their neck because they got to look at me. Everybody got to look at me. Well, guess what? When you get 40 and 50 and you got a gold chain that say, let do rock, that ain't going to pay your mortgage. You just got a $100,000 gold chain. Is you out of your mind? And they do it over and over and over again. So in his plot to have a one world, he was trying to be like God. You know, God wants a multinational, multicultural, one-headed church. Well, the devil is the same way. That's why he got kicked out of heaven. Because he wanted the same thing. He just wanted it for himself. Well, Nebuchadnezzar, which is an offshoot of Satan, is doing the same thing that Satan would do. He's worshiping himself He's using sparkly things. He wants a one world government that he's over because they've conquered most of the known world by now. And so he's called for everybody that he's conquered to send delegates up here to Babylon so we can have this big old worship service to meet. Yeah. Now you know you got a problem. Because God is going to oppose this. But God always works through other people. Yes, and so God says, I don't care how bad this world gets. I don't care how bad the economy is. I don't care how bad Babylon is. God will always have some people on his side. Man. I don't care if you decide to walk away, leave, do whatever you're going to do. God is never going to let his church die because you decide you don't want to be part of it no more. Don't you know God always got somebody in the bullpen waiting to take your spot? Somebody always warming up. Somebody always ready to do. I used to think that, when I was young, oh, Lord can't do it without me. Man, please. He said, I did it without you. I can do it without King David. I can do it without Solomon. I can do it without your mama, without your daddy. I'm God. I don't really need none of y'all. Yeah. And so Nebuchadnezzar's having this worship ceremony. So he uses the gold, and then he decides the gold ain't enough because Satan don't just want to mess with your eyes. He's got to mess with your ears. So he says, every time y'all hear this music, you remember that? Did you read that? Because you're supposed to read 1 through 30. Yeah. Every time y'all see this calf, y'all hear this music, y'all bow down. Basically worship. But it goes to show you how powerful music is. Music is very, very powerful. Satan stole music from God. Yeah. Because God created music in the heavens, and he made Satan the choir director. And Satan understands, and he knows how powerful music is because, music will put you in different moods because music will get to your soul. Yeah. You can listen to a song, man. I'm talking about one of them real good spiritual songs. You could be in a funk. You could be in a bad place. And Tamala, man, them get to singing. Next thing you know, you done forgot all about that you were singing. Yep. That's how powerful music is. The ladies know when the men used to want to groove with you. Talking wasn't just enough. You come over there, that joker put dim the lights. Put a little Luther on. And as soon as he do that, you better get on out of there. Because he knows how powerful music is. And these kids, you hear the stuff they listening to. That I don't know what that is. That ain't music. That's just garbage there. That's just junk. And so they ain't listening to the content. They just being moved by the beat. So look at what Nebuchadnezzar does. He does the same thing that God wants out of us in worship. He wants us to see the image of Christ. Listen to the worship. Listen to the music. Listen to the preached word. And then it ought to push some kind of adoration about God in your heart. Well, you see Nebuchadnezzar, he's smart. He's doing the same thing. He's doing the same thing. And so the conspirators, they see that he's full of himself. This king is full of himself. So now what they do is they go get in his ear. And they say, the Hebrew boys, the ones that you like so much. The ones you put over us. Mm-hmm. Every time you tell them to worship, they're not doing it. Yeah. They said they refuse to worship you. Mm-hmm. And that's where this is picking up at. And so when Nebuchadnezzar heard this, he said, what? And he heard it, and then 19 says, Nebuchadnezzar was full of fury. Why was he full of fury? Because he heard that his boys, that he keep thinking that he blessed. He really thinks that he's, looking out for them. Y'all in my house, y'all work in the palace. I done put y'all over providences. And now first you ain't going to eat my food. Now you telling me you ain't going to worship me? Oh no, we got a problem here. And he said his attitude changed. And I tell you time and time and time again, folk will love you until you go against what they say. See, folk will be in your corner until you disagree with them. Folk will tell you all the time, I want you to tell me the truth now. Don't lie to me. That means they want you to lie to them. Because they probably already know the truth. Because they done probably heard it enough from somebody else. That's why I love Big Mama and them, because you get to a certain age, you just say what you want to say. You don't even care no more. I think you get over 70, you just say whatever you want to say. Just keep on moving, huh? And folk don't get mad at you. But folk attitudes towards you, they'll change if you don't agree with them. If you don't agree with how they look at that, even if they're in a problem situation, as long as what you say about the problem is the same as what they say about the problem, y'all cool. But if you point out the fact that what they think is the problem ain't the problem, I don't want to hear you. Or do this, then what they'll say to you. Who is you to tell me you do it too? Well, you ask me. I ain't asked you what you indicting me for. You asked me to be honest with you, then when I'm honest with you, you talking about, I gotta go, I'll call you later. Right? So if you don't want to hear the truth, don't read the Bible and don't call me, because I'm going to tell you. So he got mad at him. His attitude changed. And so they had this furnace, because he had already told them, look, y'all, if y'all do what I tell y'all to do, I'm going to throw y'all in this furnace. Well, if you're dealing with religious folks, you already know that when people show enough believe in God, you can't threaten them with death. Because people that show enough believe in God knows that you only can kill the body. And the only way you can kill the body is if God lets you. So the first thing that a shown up person ain't afraid of is you talking about killing me. Man, you gonna make me a martyr and give me a free crown in heaven? Let's go. We celebrate Martin Luther King Day tomorrow. You think Martin was all right? Martin got up and told them, they gonna kill me. They are going to kill me. They done called me. They done told me, and then y'all gonna be able to do about it. But guess what? He still did what he had to do. Martin, shut your mouth. We're going to put you in jail. Well, you're going to put me in jail anyway eventually. So let's go. Right? And so you have to have something you stand for. And so they had something they stood for. So I'm going to put y'all in this. I'm going to put y'all in this furnace. And since they said we ain't worried about no furnace, as a matter of fact, turn it up all the way. Since y'all smart mouth, since you got something to say about your God, I'm going to turn this heat up all the way up. I'm going to turn it up as high as it can go. And then he ordered them. He said, grab them, and he threw them all up with their world clothes on, because you know they work for the king. So he threw them in there with their gowns on. He threw them in there with their clothes on. And look, it says 21. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, their hats, and their other garments, and they were cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace was exceeding hot, the flames of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Man, that ought to jump out at you right there. Because these are the same haters. The same ones that went to the king, talking about, he ain't doing what you tell him to do. Be careful about doing somebody else's dirt for him. Should have let the king throw him in there himself. Because sometimes you carrying on somebody else's dirt gonna burn you up. You better be careful how you handle, I keep telling you, be careful how you handle God's people. Because you see what happened when you handle them wrong, don't you? So they handle God's people wrong, and the flames burned them. Now this was amazing to me, because I'm going, okay, the flames burned them, but they were holding the boys. So why didn't the flame burn the boys? Well, God had already showed them. See, people always preaching like this. God took the heat out the flame. That ain't what God did. God made the boys fireproof. See, that's the same thing that happens in your life and in my life. That's why you can go through your trials and your temptations and you can still smile and be happy, because God has made you trial proof. He says the victory will be yours no matter what you go through. Now, how long you go through it going to be dependent upon you and the choices that you make while you in the furnace. Because God ain't going to never keep you out the furnace. I was just telling the preacher yesterday, God don't keep preachers out of jail. You better read your Bible. A lot of preachers went to jail. Right? A lot of preachers are in prison ministry. I just don't want to be one of them. And the same with you and me. He don't keep us out of furnaces. He don't keep us out of fiery trials. Especially the ones we put ourselves in. But watch this. If you go into the furnace for his name's sake. See, most of us, we ain't never got that far yet. We make bad choices. We still get punished for the choices we make. We ain't never got persecuted for righteousness' sake. So we ain't never been righteous enough. We still getting whooped for the stuff we know we did wrong. You steal something, you should be in jail. You ain't pay your light bill, your light should be, oh Lord, I'm being persecuted. No, you're not being persecuted. You're being irresponsible.
That's right, Pastor.
See, persecution means I'm doing it because God said so. I take a stand. No, I ain't marrying two women in here. Throw me out then. Right? Ain't gonna be no two men standing up here kissing all of my child. I know what happened. Well, you ain't ready to be pastor because you know this new contemporary. Well, guess what? I won't be pastor. Because I know what God's word said. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they knew what God's word said. And they knew that it was blasphemy, and they knew it was idolatrous to bow down to anything other than God. No matter what the consequences were. All I'm trying to tell you is sometimes you're going to have to stand up to the culture. You ain't going to be able to do everything they do. You know, I love when people, you know, let's dress down for Kids Day and all that. No, let the kids dress up for Grown Up Day. What I need to look like a kid for? And we have got to be counter to the culture. You know, all that stuff we bring into the church from the world, trying to make them comfortable. I don't want to make them comfortable when they come in here. My job is to make you uncomfortable. My job is not to make you, oh, well, I keep living the way I'm living. Everything going to be, no, everything ain't going to be all right. And somebody got to be the one to tell them, even if it affects me for saying it, right? And so he did the same thing here. Let me do a few more, and then I'm going to get out of here.
That's all right.
It says they fell down bound in the midst of the fiery furnace. Lord have mercy. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and he spake, and he said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He said, ye servants of who? The Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth in the midst of the fire. Y'all know what happened in the middle of that was that, you know, he turned it up. They having a cabaret down there in the middle of the fire. He don't understand why they high-fiving and, you know, having a good time. So he look in the furnace. Not only are they in there, but Jesus in there with them. Because like I tell you, he may not take you out of the fire. He may not take you out of the trial, but that's okay as long as he in it with you. See, I'd rather be going through stuff with Jesus than to have it easy without him. See, I'd rather be in the fiery furnace with Jesus than at the king's table without him. Because the king's table going to demand me to compromise. But what Jesus allows you to know is, just like I created heaven, and I can walk on water, while y'all worried about me throwing you into a fiery hell, I control that too. Understand that God controls the temperatures of life. He controls the elements of life. That's why I praise him, because what is it that man can do to me if daddy controlling everything? Because if daddy's controlling it and I'm in the middle of it, that means he knows I can handle it. And since he knows I can handle it, then let me step up and be mature and go on and handle what I need to handle. Regardless of where it's at, regardless of who involved, regardless of how long I got to stay there, I handle it because daddy in there with me. He said, man, I thought we put 3 of them in there. There's 4 of them walking around in there. The pre-incarnate Christ. Pre, meaning before he had flesh. We've seen a lot of appearances of Jesus in the Old Testament walking around. First one was in Genesis, when God was walking around in the garden in the cool of the day. They talking about, nah, he wasn't walking. Well, how in the world can you hear walking unless it's a body? Right. Amen. We make this stuff too complicated. It ain't that deep. You can't walk without a body. So obviously a pre-incarnate Christ was walking around. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That means if you're saying God, he wasn't there by himself. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, they always roll together. That's what they do. And you can't have one without having the other. Well, I keep trying to tell my Jehovah's Witness brothers, you can't just keep separating God like that. You either got it, all of him, or you don't. Well, we go back to Jehovah. Well, that's all right. Because if you knew anything, you would know ain't no J's in the Hebrew alphabet. I just did that for my dad. So look, he says, and spoke unto, she said, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. And then they came forth out of the midst of the fire. And the princes, the governors, the captains, and the king's counselors being gathered together. They could have skipped all that and just put the haters. Saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was, watch this, nor was an hair of their head singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Lord have mercy. Jesus, you're going to make me change my sermon today. Because listen, don't you know that it is possible to go through the fire of your life and come out and not even smell like smoke? Man, look around you. Man, people do not look like what they've been through. If you sit down and talk to folk and find out what they've really been through, some folk are called hell and they don't even smell like fire. Look around and be like, well, it'll caught me in my 30s, you wouldn't even spoke to me. But look what God done done. Look how He done cleaned you up, turned you around, gave you some new teeth, new hair, gave you some new clothes and a new husband. Lord, all right. I'm just telling you that it's possible to go through what you got to go through and come out on the other side and look better than you did when you came out. Why? Because Jesus is in the midst of it with you. One more, then I'm done. Nebuchadnezzar spoke, and he said, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered them, and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any God except their own God." And when y'all, if you continue to read the story, Nebuchadnezzar ended up getting saved. All because he witnessed the faith of these boys. And he said, if anybody willing to go through what I just put them through and still come out on the other side looking better than they did when I threw them in there, then there must be a God somewhere. I'm saying all that to say that's the same thing that God does in your life and in my life. He takes you through hell and high water just so folk can look at you and say, they ain't gonna never make it out of that. Oh, they done got themselves all caught up now. Oh Lord, they ain't gonna beat cancer. Oh Lord, they ain't gonna beat lupus. Oh no, they gonna do with that high blood pressure. Only for God to deliver you, and you walk right past them like George did. They look at you and they know what you done been through and how much you done been through, and they say the only way that could have happened is God. And don't let folk fool you. Then they start thinking about God. They may not ask you. They may not talk to you about it, but the seed has been planted. And that's all we can do is plant the seed, let somebody else water it, but ultimately God will do what? Give it in. No matter the cost. We do this. This is what we do. No matter the cost. Whether folk agree with us, whether they don't agree with us. Whether folk come to church, don't come to church. Whether folk give, don't give. Whether folk sing, don't sing. We do this. This is what we do. We don't have a choice. Amen. Amen. And trust me, if we keep on doing what God tells us to do, keep on being consistent, He said, I'm going to bring you forth. And I'm going to use you. I'm going to put you on display. Because that's all He did with them. He put them on display. It says the king's governors. Everybody saw them. Everybody. They can't deny this one. See, when you know a boy been sleeping on benches and was a crackhead and was a thief, and you walk into church and he up there singing a song and he in his right mind, you can't deny that. You may not like it, but you can't deny it. And if you do deny it, then it puts you on the side of the fence that you need to be on with them unbelievers. So no matter the cost, doors of the church is open. You can come